What's the most healthy habit you have? Story 1. I used to hate flossing. Every time my dentist asked if I did it, I'd lie through my teeth. Pun intended. Then one day he said, "Well, you only need to floss the ones you want to keep." I swear I heard dramatic music in my head. Now I floss religiously. Sometimes I even floss twice a day just to make sure my teeth don't stage a rebellion. My gums stopped bleeding, my breath smells better, and my dentist practically gave me a standing ovation at my last checkup. Who knew a little string could hold my life together? Story 2. I drink so much water now that I'm basically a human fish. The benefits are great: clear skin, better energy. But let me tell you, the hourly bathroom trips are no joke. My coworkers probably think I'm avoiding work with how often I sprint to the restroom. Still, I'd rather be hydrated and productive than shriveled up like a raisin. Hydrate or dihydrate, folks. Story 3. Cooking started as a necessity. I couldn't afford takeout anymore, but now it's my favorite stress reliever. The best part? The food actually tastes good most of the time. Except for that one time I confused salt for sugar and made cookies that could have doubled as pretzels. But hey, you live and learn. And my cat still gave me the "I'll eat it if you won't look." Story 4. Using my turn signal has become my personal crusade. I'm convinced I'm single-handedly teaching my city how to drive properly. Every time I flick it on, I feel like a hero in a world full of chaos. Sometimes I wonder if people behind me are shocked, like, "Whoa, did that guy actually signal?" Yes, I did, and you're welcome. Story 5. I started taking evening walks to get healthier, but let's be real. It's mostly so I can justify eating a second dessert. I call it the cookie loop. Burn a few calories, gain a few more. Life's about balance, right? At least my dog appreciates the exercise, even if I'm secretly dreaming about cheesecake halfway through. Story 6. I used to think mornings were just a rush to get out the door. I'd slam the alarm clock, groggily get ready, and shuffle off to work like a zombie. Then one day, I woke up earlier than expected, couldn't tell you why, and decided to take a walk. It was like stepping into a different world. The air was cool, the sky was painted in these soft pinkish hues, and the quiet chirping of birds felt like a secret symphony meant just for me. That first walk turned into 2, then a week, and now it's been years. I wake up before the rest of the world, throw on some comfy sneakers, and just walk. I don't bring my phone or earbuds. It's just me, the crisp air, and my thoughts. It's the simplest habit, but it's become my daily reset button. It's like clearing out the clutter in my brain before the chaos of the day sets in. I've noticed my mood improve, my energy skyrocket, and even my body feels stronger and healthier. It's funny how a small decision one random morning turned into something so life-changing. Story 7. I started walking my dog every day for exercise, but let's be honest, she's the one dragging me up hills. People think I'm this dedicated fitness guru, but really I'm just trying to keep up with a 30-pound fur missile who thinks every squirrel is a personal challenge. At least I'm getting my steps in, even if I look like a struggling cartoon character. Story 8. I wasn't always good at staying connected with people. Life gets busy, you know. But that changed when a friend passed away unexpectedly. We were close once, but life had pulled us in different directions. I hadn't checked in with him in years, and when I heard the news, the guilt hit me like a freight train. I couldn't stop wondering if a simple text or call from me could have made his days better. That's when I decided I didn't want to be the guy who forgets about the people he cares about. Now I make it a habit to reach out regularly to my friends, especially the ones I know don't have many people checking in on them. Sometimes it's a text, sometimes a call, and sometimes I'll drop by unannounced just to hang out. Most of the time they don't realize how much they needed the conversation until we're in the middle of it. It's not just for them, though. Knowing I'm making someone's day better, even in the smallest way, gives me a sense of purpose. It's a habit I wish I'd started sooner, but better late than never, right? Story 9. Every night I get cozy in bed and then it hits me. I didn't brush my teeth. Cue the internal debate. You'll be fine for one night. But then, visions of cavities and gum disease haunt me until I finally get up, half asleep, to brush. I swear my toothbrush mocks me like, "Thought you'd escape, huh?" It's a nightly battle, but so far oral hygiene is undefeated. Story 10. I'll admit it, online gaming has always been my escape. After a long day, I love hopping on Rocket League or Call of Duty, putting on my headset and losing myself in the game. But if you've ever played competitive games online, you know how toxic it can get. People yelling at each other, blaming teammates, and throwing tantrums. It's exhausting. I used to get caught up in it too. If a teammate messed up, I'd grumble or shoot off some snarky comment. Then one day something clicked. I was in a match where I absolutely blew it, missed an easy shot, totally fumbled the play. Instead of tearing into me like I expected, my teammate typed in the chat, "No worries, we've got this." That tiny bit of encouragement completely turned my mindset around. I started playing better, and we ended up winning the game. It made me realize how much a little positivity can change the vibe, not just for one person, but for the whole team. So I decided to make it my thing. Whenever I'm gaming now, I focus on building up my teammates instead of tearing them down. If someone screws up, I'll say, "No biggie, let's regroup." If we're losing, I'll throw out a, "We can still turn this around." It's such a small shift, but it makes a massive difference. You can feel the tension ease, and people start communicating better. The best part? It's contagious. I've noticed teammates mirroring my attitude, encouraging each other, and even apologizing when they make mistakes. Sure, there are still trolls and toxic players, but I've learned to tune them out. The funny thing is, I started doing this for others, but it's helped me just as much. I enjoy gaming more, and even when we lose, I don't walk away feeling bitter or frustrated. It's taught me something important. Kindness isn't just about being nice. It's a strategy. Whether it's in a game or real life, lifting people up gets better results than tearing them down. Who knew Rocket League could teach me that? Story 11. I started walking in the mornings to clear my head, but now I'm that person who knows exactly when the flowers bloom and which birds hang out in my neighborhood. My neighbors think I'm a nature expert, but honestly, I just walk around pretending to be one. Ah, yes, that's a yellow bird of some sort. Beautiful this time of year. Story 12. 3 years ago, I was burning the candle at both ends, working a job that had me glued to a screen for 10 hours a day. By the time I got home, I was fried, mentally, emotionally, physically. One morning, I woke up earlier than usual, feeling restless and kind of annoyed at the world. Instead of scrolling through my phone like I normally would, I decided to go outside. It wasn't planned or anything. I just needed to get out of the house. The air was cool, and the neighborhood was so quiet you could hear the birds chirping like they owned the place. I started walking, aimlessly at first, but after about 15 minutes I noticed my head felt clearer. It was like all the stress and noise in my brain had been turned down a notch. When I got back home, I felt, dare I say it, refreshed. That day at work, I was more focused and less snappy with my coworkers. I figured it was a fluke, but I tried it again the next morning. Same thing. By the end of that week, I'd decided this wasn't just a one-time experiment. It was going to be a thing. Now, every single morning, rain or shine, I head out for a 30-minute walk before I even look at my phone. I don't bring earbuds or listen to music. It's just me, the fresh air, and whatever random thoughts pop into my head. That small habit has transformed my life in ways I never expected. It's not just the physical benefits, though I've definitely noticed my legs are stronger and my pants fit better. It's the mental clarity that keeps me coming back. Those walks give me a chance to breathe, reflect, and set the tone for the day. It's like hitting a reset button every morning. Even on days when I wake up grumpy or tired, I push myself to go. And without fail, by the time I'm halfway through, my mood shifts. It's like magic. I've started recommending it to friends, especially the ones who tell me they feel overwhelmed or stuck. Some of them have tried it and say it helps. Others think I'm crazy for willingly waking up early. But hey, it works for me. Now, when people ask how I manage to stay so calm and balanced, I tell them about my walks. It's the simplest thing, really, just putting one foot in front of the other. But sometimes the simplest things make the biggest difference. Story 13. I can't sleep unless I shower, and it's become a full-blown obsession. If I forget, I lie there thinking about all the outside germs crawling on me. Sometimes I wonder if I'm paranoid, but then I think, better paranoid than itchy. My family thinks I'm nuts, but hey, at least I smell amazing while overthinking my life choices. Story 14. I used to be one of those people who thought drinking water was boring. Why would I pick plain old water when I could have soda or juice, right? Then a few years back, I started getting these headaches that just wouldn't quit. My doctor straight up told me I was dehydrated, and it hit me. I'd been sabotaging myself. So I made a pact with myself to prioritize hydration. I started small, keeping a water bottle on me at all times. Now I drink water like it's my full-time job. My energy levels are up, my skin's cleared, and I don't feel sluggish like I used to. Sure, I've become that person who's constantly running to the bathroom, but honestly, I'll take it. It's insane how something as simple as drinking enough water can completely transform your health. My coworkers laugh at how attached I am to my giant water bottle, but they're the ones always complaining about being tired. Hydrate or dihydrate, right? Story 15. I quit drinking 6 months ago, and now I'm the most dramatic person at parties, but sober. Someone spills a drink? I'm narrating like it's a crime scene. Karaoke? I'm belting out Total Eclipse of the Heart stone cold sober. Turns out you don't need alcohol to be the loudest person in the room. You just need confidence and a willingness to embarrass yourself. Story 16. For most of my adult life, cooking was the last thing I wanted to do. Why bother when takeout was faster, easier, and let's be honest, tastier? But during the pandemic, when restaurants were closed and grocery trips felt like military missions, I had no choice. I dusted off an old frying pan, Googled easy chicken recipes, and got to work. That first attempt was a disaster. I burned the chicken, forgot to season the vegetables, and managed to set off my smoke alarm twice. But something about the process, the chopping, the stirring, the smell of food cooking, felt oddly satisfying. So I tried again, and again. Each time I got a little better. I learned how to properly dice an onion, balance flavors, and even make my own sauces from scratch. Now cooking has become one of the best parts of my day. It's not just about the food, though that's definitely a perk. It's the ritual of it, the way it forces me to slow down and focus on something tangible. After a long, stressful day, there's something incredibly grounding about slicing a bell pepper or kneading dough. I've also noticed how much healthier I feel. When you cook your own meals, you know exactly what's going into them. No more greasy fast food or mystery ingredients. I've started experimenting with different cuisines. Thai curries, Italian pastas, even homemade sushi. My friends joke that I've turned into a full-blown foodie, but I don't mind. Cooking has also improved my relationships. I invite friends over for dinner, and we bond over a meal I made from scratch. My parents are thrilled that I finally learned how to cook, and my partner loves being my taste tester. What started as a necessity has turned into a passion. Cooking has taught me patience, creativity, and the joy of taking care of myself. It's a habit I never saw coming, but now I can't imagine my life without it. Story 17. I used to think cooking was a chore. Why spend hours in the kitchen when takeout was just a click away? But during the pandemic, I found myself with too much time and not enough excuses. I decided to give cooking a shot. I started simple. A grilled chicken breast here, a veggie stir-fry there. To my surprise, I started enjoying it. I loved the creativity of combining ingredients and the satisfaction of eating something I made with my own hands. Now I cook almost every meal at home, and it's become my therapy. The chopping, the sizzling sounds, even the cleanup. It's all so grounding. My grocery bills are lower, I feel healthier, and I've even impressed a few dates with my cooking. It's crazy how something I used to dread became one of my favorite parts of the day. Plus, there's something special about knowing exactly what's going into your body. It's not just a meal, it's self-care. Story 18. I never used to floss. I thought it was one of those things dentists tell you to do, but nobody actually does. Then, one day, my dentist said something that hit me. You only need to floss the teeth you want to keep. That stuck with me. So I started flossing every night. At first, it was annoying, an extra 2 minutes added to my bedtime routine when I was already half asleep. But over time, it became automatic. Now I can't sleep unless I've flossed. My dentist is thrilled, of course, but what surprised me was how much better my mouth feels. My gums don't bleed anymore, my teeth feel cleaner, and I don't dread dental appointments like I used to. It's such a tiny habit, but it's made me feel more in control of my health. Who knew a little string could make such a big difference? Story 19. It was a normal Tuesday morning when I got the news. My old friend Mike had passed away in a car accident. We'd been tight back in the day, but life happens, you know? We drifted apart, both busy with jobs and families. Hearing about his death hit me harder than I expected. It wasn't just the shock of losing someone I cared about. It was the realization that I hadn't reached out to him in years. We'd occasionally like each other's posts on Facebook or exchange a quick happy birthday text, but that was it. I couldn't stop thinking about all the times I told myself I should give Mike a call and never followed through. The guilt stuck with me for weeks. Every time I thought about Mike, I wondered if he'd felt lonely or forgotten. That's when I decided I needed to do better, not just for my own peace of mind, but for the people I still had in my life. I made a list of friends I hadn't spoken to in a while, and I started small. A quick text here, a phone call there. The first few conversations were awkward. "Hey, just wanted to check in," isn't the smoothest opener, but I was surprised by how warmly most people responded. One old college buddy even said, "Man, I really needed this. Thanks for reaching out." As time went on, it became a habit. Every Sunday, I carve out an hour or two to send texts, make calls, or schedule coffee meetups. It's not just about reconnecting. It's about making sure the people I care about know I'm here for them. Sometimes the conversations are light, talking about sports, work, or whatever random thing is happening in the world. Other times, they're heavy. A friend going through a divorce broke down on the phone and told me he didn't think anyone cared enough to ask how he was doing. And you know what? It's not just helping them, it's helping me. I've reconnected with people I thought I'd lost touch with forever, and those connections have brought a sense of purpose and fulfillment I didn't expect. Losing Mike taught me the hard way that life's too short to assume people know you care. Now, I don't just think about reaching out, I do it. Story 20. Growing up, I was one of those kids who hated going to the dentist. The bright lights, the scary tools, the lectures about flossing, it was all so overwhelming. I remember the first time I got a cavity filled. The sound of that drill haunted me for weeks. But even after all that, I still didn't floss. It seemed pointless. I brushed my teeth, wasn't that enough? Then, during a checkup in my 20s, my dentist hit me with a line that changed everything. "You only need to floss the teeth you want to keep." At first I laughed it off, but later that night it hit me. I liked my teeth. I didn't want to lose them, and I definitely didn't want to go through more drilling and filling than I had to. So I decided to give flossing a try. The first week was rough. My gums bled, my fingers got sore, and I kept forgetting until I was already in bed. But I stuck with it, and after a couple of weeks it started to feel natural. Now, flossing is non-negotiable. It's part of my bedtime routine, like washing my face or setting my alarm. My dentist even noticed during my next visit, praising me for the improvement. But what surprised me most was how much better my mouth felt. My teeth felt cleaner. My breath was fresher, and those annoying gum twinges I used to get, gone. The best part is, it's such a tiny habit. It takes all of 2 minutes, but it makes a huge difference. I've even convinced a few friends to start flossing by repeating my dentist's line. One of them texted me last week saying, "I actually flossed last night because of you. Who am I?" It's funny how something so small can make you feel so accomplished. Flossing isn't just about keeping my teeth, it's about taking ownership of my health. Every time I pull out that little string, I feel like I'm investing in myself. And honestly, my teeth deserve it. Story 21. When my girlfriend told me she'd be leaving for 3 weeks to visit her family in another state, I didn't think much of it at first. I figured I'd miss her, of course, but we'd text and FaceTime, and the time would fly by. But a few days after she left, I found myself sitting in our quiet apartment, feeling oddly disconnected. I kept thinking about little things I'd normally share with her, the funny joke I heard at work, the amazing sunset I saw on my evening walk. It hit me how much I missed telling her about my day. That's when I had an idea. I'd start writing it all down. I grabbed an old notebook and started journaling, one entry for every day she was gone. At first, it was just a way to capture moments for her to read when she came back. But as I kept going, I realized how much I was enjoying it. Each night, I'd sit down and reflect on my day, jotting down everything from random thoughts to silly anecdotes to deeper feelings I didn't even know I had. By the time she got back, I had filled almost the entire notebook. When I handed it to her, she was speechless. She told me it was one of the most thoughtful things anyone had ever done for her. Watching her flip through those pages, laughing at some parts and tearing up at others, made it all worth it. But the funny thing is, even after she read it, I didn't want to stop. Journaling had become this amazing outlet for me, a way to process my thoughts and document my life. So I kept going. Now it's a habit I look forward to every day. It's not just about recording events. It's about understanding myself better and making space for gratitude. What started as a way to stay connected with my girlfriend turned into one of the most meaningful habits I've ever picked up. It's proof that sometimes the best ideas come from missing someone you love.